Tool-assisted speedruns are the highest level of speedrun possible. If you have ever asked yourself what peak performance looks like, this is it. TASs are the theoretical perfect speedrun, using external tools to manipulate RNG, perfect movement, and execute phenomenal feats. Speedrunners construct their magnum opus for their respective games. Large-scale, months-long projects that often require the efforts of many individuals. TAS speedruns often use strategies that are simply not possible for a human to execute, cutting together footage of multiple attempts in order to create the impression of one single run. One of the most impressive and entertaining speedrun TAS communities is that of Left 4 Dead 2. They are consistently making new TAS runs and pushing the boundaries of what is possible in the game. The community has constructed tools to manipulate item and enemy spawns, record and playback movement inputs, and even perfect bunny hops. Recently, this community has put together a complete tool-assisted speedrun of Left 4 Dead 2, all campaigns, 4-player co-op. This means that all 13 campaigns are completed back-to-back in around 49 minutes. This involves all 4 players having every single aspect of their play be optimized for saving the most possible time. While 49 minutes may seem like a long time, take this into consideration. The same category without the use of these tools is completed in around an hour and 48 minutes. So let's dive deep and see exactly what is going on in the first 2 campaigns of this tool-assisted speedrun. First, we start off on dead center, and while I will be explaining only the first 2 campaigns, I implore you to go watch the full video as it is definitely worth your time. Link in the description. The 4 players all spawn on the roof of this hotel engulfed in flames. Nick is in a hurry to escape his fiery death and does a few bunny hops into what is known as a common boost. When common infected are bashed, they have an animation of them stumbling backwards. Some common infected have a special property that makes it so when they are bashed, then jumped on, they give you a large speed increase. This is a totally random property assigned to commons when they spawn. Nick then avoids taking the elevator because, fire, grabbing a defibrillator and a boomer bile on its way out. He says fuck the stairs and goes straight to the safe room. Coach and Rochelle both decide to follow suit and follow him down. However, they make sure to go idle while doing so, because Ellis has set up a perfect warp to Nick, so he will get teleported right before Nick dies. When a player goes idle, their character is taken control of by the AI. When the AI detects that it is too far from other players, it can decide to teleport. Getting the AI stuck before going idle can guarantee a warp in a certain time. Since the other players are also idle, this guarantees Ellis will warp to Nick. Ellis takes no fall damage because he warped, and he grabs the defib and ends the level. All of that happens in about 10 seconds. Now you can see why this video might need some explanation. The next map starts up with Ellis swapping out the defibrillator for a health kit and Rochelle grabbing the boomer bile off the ground as well as the recently dropped defibrillator. All items in the safe room on the previous map are transferred to the new one, so even though no one had the boomer bile equipped, it still spawns in on the ground. Coach and Nick immediately go on to grab the grenade launcher and boomer bile outside and rush to the meetup spot. Rochelle then sets up for a Bile Boost. This is where one player sets up to throw a boomer bile at the feet of another player who is jumping. Similar to a common boost, the velocity of the boomer bile is added to the player. However, the amount of height versus speed can be controlled by the angle the bile is thrown. Ellis bounces off this bile and lands on the roof, where Coach and Nick are waiting underneath to do what is known as a super boost. Grenade launchers have a similar property to boomer biles, as they can also launch players. Coach boosts Nick with a grenade launcher, and then Nick in turn boosts Ellis with a boomer bile. The act of boosting with a grenade launcher and then a boomer bile on top is what is known as a super boost. If you pay attention to the bottom right, you will see a speedometer mod that is used to track the player's velocity. This boost is one of the fastest in the whole game. Ellis gets launched so far and so high, he actually lands on top of these clips, or invisible walls, and continues his bunny hops till he gets to his destination. Meanwhile, Rochelle collects a boomer bile and Coach starts to idle warp to Ellis. When Ellis drops down here, he idles briefly and does what is known as an edge bug to break his fall. Then he idles the tank hit to avoid taking damage and to use the speed from the hit to accelerate his bunny hops. Then he grabs a Molotov and is immediately boosted over the wall by Coach. Coach once again idle warps to Ellis. However, this time Ellis backs up into a wall, so that when Coach teleports to him, he clips through this wall and back in bounds. The team then votes to change the difficulty back to expert so they could sacrifice Nick. Rochelle and Nick get freaky in the safe room and Nick ends up dead. Rochelle then starts to defibrillate Nick, but idle warps to Coach as she is finishing the defib. With 3 of 3 alive players in the safe room for a brief moment, the map ends, but Nick is revived in the old safe room. As the next map rolls in, Nick is stuck in place in an endless void. The team votes back to easy and gathers some supplies. Ellis grabs a Molotov and gets yeeted by Coach once more and ramps off of this information sign to get to the 3rd floor. Nick is placed out of bounds because this is the only way to get him out of the line of sight of Ellis so that he can warp. This warp then clips Nick through the wall, and then Rochelle teleports to Nick and she uses a boomer bile to boost him into a chain of bunny hops. Similar to the last one, Ellis clips into the wall and Coach then clips through the next wall by idle warping, and then runs to the safe room. This wall must be double idle warp clipped into because it is too thick for just one warp. Ellis idle warps to Coach in the safe room, and Rochelle and Nick die so that the map can end. For the finale of this campaign, the 4 players all bunny hop together to the elevator that will once again be skipped. Coach is in the lead and turns around to boost Ellis, Rochelle, and Nick all up to the 4th floor with the grenade launcher. The gang votes to expert, and Ellis does an edge bug to break his fall from the 4th floor. Nick also edge bugs down a floor, and the gang starts to gather gas cans. Rochelle then kills Coach and jumps down to help funnel gas to Ellis, who uses an adrenaline to fill the gas faster. And just like that, Dead Center is over. 4 maps in about 2 minutes. The insane amount of things going on at the same time is really staggering. There is a large amount of preparation work that must be done when making a run like this. Each item pickup is calculated, and the possible spawn points for all items must be known to route out the fastest method. Even though tools are required to do some of these tricks, they must also be executed by a person at least once in order to be tied to the string of larger actions. So it may take hundreds of attempts to get the perfect bunny hop line or land an edge bug. And this is only 2% of the entire run. It's important to note that this run is done in the newest patch of Left 4 Dead at the release of this video, so no old patch strats will be used when trying to get past certain sections of the game. Theoretically, anything you see in this video is repeatable, although I wouldn't recommend trying. Next, the TAS gods decide to take on The Passing, a DLC campaign that has only 3 maps. Out the gate, the players start bunny hopping through the shops and into the back alley. Nick grabs a Molotov and Ellis an adrenaline, as well as a fire in a bottle. Rochelle then grabs the casual grenade launcher on the bar table and sets up for Coach to do a grenade launcher boost. The gang votes to expert and Coach grabs a boomer bile while bunny hopping around some invisible walls. Rochelle starts to idle warp to Coach as Nick and Ellis light themselves on fire. Before Ellis dies, he gives Rochelle the adrenaline and she warps to Coach. Coach then uses the boomer bile to boost Rochelle over this wall and she bunny hops to the exit. Coach jumps to his death. 31 seconds into the map, Rochelle grenade launcher boosts Nick over these buildings as Coach idles and she joins him. Nick picks up an adrenaline, and Ellis edge bugs to not die and B-hops to the ditch where the others teleport to him. Then, Coach's grenade launcher boosted over this building and into a window. He grabs some pills and breaks his fall on some trash, hoping there is no glass in one of those bags. The gang votes back to expert, and Coach grabs a boomer bile, an adrenaline, and explosive ammo. He then uses this adrenaline to help increase speed and counteract the effects of water slowdown. Ellis then uses an adrenaline he found to down Rochelle and pick her back up twice, putting her in the black and white state, and then proceeds to kill himself. Rochelle then catches up to Coach and sets up to do a grenade launcher boost. However, Coach shoots her with the pistol, so the boost will actually kill Rochelle. Then, mid-boost, Coach turns around and picks up the grenade launcher. Then, he ramps up this slope and jumps the fence for the crescendo. Nick then starts to warp to Coach and spawns in before the safe room, giving him just enough time to plant the explosive rounds with his adrenaline speed. The gang switch to easy as they prepare to skip the entire finale. Nick grabs a shotgun, upgraded, and then he grabs some explosive ammo. Coach, with his newly equipped grenade launcher, launches Nick into some hops that get him on top of the bridge. Then, the other two idle in places where they could teleport to Nick. Rochelle also grabs the explosive rounds, and then gets teleported onto the bridge. The gang votes back to expert, and she heads upstairs. Coach and Nick idle and are teleported to Rochelle. Coach does his last grenade launcher boost, and Rochelle turns around mid-air and downs both Coach and Nick with the explosive rounds. Ellis jumps off the bridge to his death, and Rochelle breaks her fall with the very same explosive rounds. Since all of the players are alive and not incapacitated are in the finale zone, the map is ended and technically completed. These maps are some of the most insane things I've seen in all of gaming. The countless hours spent routing, performing, and editing these campaigns together is beyond my imagining. I really want more people to understand and appreciate the amount of craftsmanship that goes into a project like this one. TAS videos show us what truly are the breaking points of our favorite speedruns, and it's really exciting to see just how much we can learn from them. This is only 2 of the 13 campaigns done in this tool-assisted speedrun. If you would like to see the rest, there's a link to the original video in the description. If you like this video, make sure to let me know in the comments below, and to subscribe for more content like this in the future. I just want to give a huge shout out to Eurus and Mr. Tankops, who have helped me immensely with this video and gave me permission to cover it.